forced to dock at Hospital Point to keep from being sunk in the bay there at Pearl Harbor. High above, the D-3A dive bomber, a 200-pound bomb between the wheel wells. As this aircraft rolls up on the wingtip, the pilot spots the United States battleship, the Arizona. As he comes out of his dive, he drops that 200-pound bomb alongside the number 2 gun emplacement. It goes through the foredeck, down 3 flights, into the bay. As it exploded, it took over 1,200 American servicemen. They sleep there today. The Nakajima V-5N Kate. They've been working on this torpedo for well over 3 months. It kept diving too deep into the water. They put new strakes on the back of it, and they worked for the previous month trying to get it to run shallow, just as it would at the bay at Pearl Harbor. One of these torpedoes hits the back side of the United States battleship, the Oklahoma. Actually, 3 of them hit it in succession, just as you see the 3 aircraft coming in right now. They're in on the side of the Oklahoma. As the torpedoes impact the side, it blows a hole in the side of the ship. It almost immediately starts to roll over on the starboard side. 800 young servicemen are trapped inside the ship. It took almost a month to get them all out. Some of them were not alive. The Mitsubishi A6M0, the fastest aircraft in the Pacific theater. General Claire Chennault called back over 2 years prior to this invasion and said the Japanese have an aircraft that we can't fly against. It's faster, it's more maneuverable, it has longer capabilities. We can't fly against it. They were flying FM-2 Wildcats. In fact, at the time of the invasion, some of these Wildcats were being repositioned off the aircraft carrier Hornet under the command of Bull Halsey, and they flew right into the middle of this maelstrom. 2 young servicemen in their P-40 Warhawks, Lieutenants Ken Taylor and George Welch, managed to get their airplanes into the air. When they saw what was happening, they called ahead because they'd been doing gunnery practice. They had their crew chiefs line the airplanes up. They went screaming out to the field, got the airplanes up between the 2 of them. They managed to shoot down 7 of the Japanese invaders, 7 of 24, which were shot down on that December the 7th morning, 1941. This second wave came in about 2 hours later. Much damage was done to our island base at Pearl Harbor. Hickam, Bellows, Alawea, all of the other bases that we used at Pearl Harbor and on the island of Oahu. But there was a major error in there was a flaw in their planning. They had planned on taking out all of the aircraft carriers of the American Pacific Fleet. Admiral Husband Kimmel had his aircraft carriers out on the Pacific. They were moving aircraft out into other bases in the Philippines and other places where we needed reinforcements. As a result, our aircraft carriers were out in the Pacific. When Admiral Nomura found out that the carriers were not at Pearl Harbor, he called off the 3rd wave of invasionary forces off of the Akagi, Kaga, Hiryu, Soryu, Shokaku, and Suikaku. As the result, none of our submarines were damaged. Listen to our president as he went before Congress.
1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that America did gain that inevitable triumph. But it was over 4 years later, and over 5.5 million people known as World War II. So we listened to Kit Smith sing about our nation, America. You know what was going on during that time frame. America starting the river. Across the country, as they went all everything that was happening in our country. As we listen to Kate Smith, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about something. Think about the young men and women who gave their life that we may be the greatest free nation in the world. Whether it's Korea, or Vietnam, or Panama, or the Persian Gulf, or Iraq, or Afghanistan, wherever America's sons and daughters go, under the banner of this flag, wearing the uniform of our great nation, they do this for one reason, and that is to make America the greatest free nation in the world. Do you believe that, Quad Cities? Do you believe America is the greatest nation in the world? Think about the sacrifices of those young sons and daughters, and take this to the bank. As long as we support them and we salute the great flag that represents this nation, we will continue to be the greatest free nation in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Charles Hutchins, Jim Ryan, Mike Burke, Jess Butenhoff, Will Boniface, Skip Rawson, Ron Iberg, Bobby Covington, Bob McBoom Boom Weston, one of the finest pyrotechnics crews in the nation, out there on the other side of the field. Tom Hill is our ground support guy. We'd like to say thank you to Motorola, the Isle of Capri, and Rhythm Cities Casino. Ladies and gentlemen, we are TORA, TORA, TORA. God bless America.
And ladies and gentlemen,